Hi, my name is Haley Comet and welcome to my cosmic corner of the internet where we discuss all things astrology and today all things Pisces Descendant, Virgo risings in love, connection, and partnership. Your natal chart tells you a lot about you, but what you may not know is that it tells you a lot about not you as well. The Descendant within astrology is an angle that embodies qualities that you do not readily identify within yourself, so you look for in others to complement and to balance. When it comes to connection, when it comes to partnership, we are not looking for someone who is exactly like us. We are looking for somebody who can make up for some of our deficiencies as well as heighten and really highlight some of our strengths. So to understand the ideal other to have on your path of life, your ideal spouse, your ideal business partner, we'll want to dive into the Descendant, as well as within this video, we'll break down how you can find your Descendant ruler to understand the type of individuals that you are drawn to for better and for worse, and even where it is that you can find this individual, what it is that they will be like. That's what the Descendant can tell us within our chart. And you, my love, see the world through these Virgo-like glasses, right? Through this lens of meticulous analysis, through this lens of detail, through this lens of this eternal quest for perfection. And because of that, I know that you guys have very high standards, so if at any point throughout this video I earn a like, comment, a share, a subscription, I would so deeply appreciate it. It's very helpful in creating cosmic content. But let's go ahead and break down the not you angle of your chart, essentially the qualities that you are looking for within partnership and even the archetype of your ideal other. So as I highlighted, you as a Virgo ascendant see the world through the little things, through the minutia. Virgo is about essentially breaking things apart to understand them. That is why you have a gift when it relates to finding errors in just about everything. These are the individuals that you want to edit your paper, to give you honest feedback on your outfit. You are somebody who deeply wants to be helpful, and you are quite helpful. You have high standards. You project this energy around having it all together, even if you don't necessarily, you project that you do. To take a deeper dive into understanding you, your physical appearance, yourself, how it is that you view life, check out my Virgo Ascendant video because that goes into more detail on those pieces. And I know you guys enjoy some detail, but what I want to break down in this video is what is the ideal person to have by your side that balances and bounces off all of these Virgo attributes that you bring to the table, all of your high standards, all of your desire to improve your reality, all of your groundedness while making up for some of your deficiencies. We travel across the chart to the Pisces Descendant. Very important. As I continue on in this video, I am not saying you have to go out and find your nearest Pisces and marry them immediately or start a business with them immediately. When we talk about the Descendant, it is a sign, yes, and sometimes you can find you're drawn to that actual sign, so people who are Pisces placements, Pisces suns, but it's not a necessity. When I talk about this Pisces energy, I want you to consider it as an archetype. And as I highlighted earlier, we will break down how to find the nuances within your chart because everybody has a different flavor of the Pisces Descendant that they are drawn to dependent on the Descendant ruler, which we will get into. So you see the world through this lens around wanting to find perfection. And because of this, you're not going to necessarily want to be drawn to somebody who is as, let's just say, as neurotic as you are. I can say it because I'm a Virgo rising as well. You want someone who exhibits this Pisces Descendant quality of being able to attune you to the bigger picture of what really matters. Because you are Virgo rising, sometimes you can get so lost in the trees that you forget the forest to the big picture. And you can find that you are drawn to people who reorient you to the bigger picture of it all. Oftentimes, you could be drawn to people who are quite spiritual in this way or are quite creative in this way. They naturally sort of move through life in this it's a water sign, so this very watery, inspired, mystical way where they're able to take you out of your mind every so often to reorient you to the bigger picture around hey babe, it's not that big of a deal that you can't find that particular paper. Let's just chill out and relax, and maybe it'll show up later. And like as soon as you stop thinking about it and relax with your partner, then you find what it is that you're looking for. Sometimes you can get really stressed about the minutia, and your ideal other, again, in marriage, in partnership, would be somebody who returns you to the glorious big picture. And this can be in a myriad of ways. Some people, it'll be people who are literally spiritual, people who remind you, say affirmations or pray if you're stressed about something. Or it could just be somebody who kind of just moves through life in this more relaxed, it's all good, we'll figure it out mentality, which is helpful as it relates to getting you out of your head and getting you out of your nerves. You're also drawn to individuals who remind you to dream. Sometimes you can get so lost into wanting to be helpful and wanting to do all the things and be all the things and do everything perfectly that you forget to dream about what could be. You as an earth rising are very rooted and are very grounded, and there's so many amazing qualities of that. But your ideal other can be somebody who is a bit more dreamy or ethereal, who reminds you, well, what would you do if you didn't have to work today? Or like, what would your dream job be? Somebody who takes you out of the routine, because a lot of times as it relates to how it is that you operate through life as a Virgo rising, you live a lot of your life through, okay, the to-do list, and I've got to do this, and I have this routine, and I have to hit this class or what have you. Of course, every Virgo rising will exhibit this desire for order over their lives differently. Some over their schedule, some over their diet, some over their exercise routine, some over their job, what have you. But the common thread is this, is that you are looking for a partner who essentially allows you to contemplate, what would I be doing, or what could life be? And a lot of times you'll find you're drawn to people who are big dreamers, right? People who maybe even call in your playful side or call in your creative side, or just sort of take you away from the routine of the day-to-day and sort of remind you to judge your days based on the presence rather off the productivity, which is something that you sometimes get ensnared within. Please excuse the brief interruption, but I wanted to highlight that a huge part of how this Pisces Descendant archetype expresses this dreamy nature is through romance. Truly, Pisces is an energy that elevates the very act of loving and living to a near art form. And oftentimes you can find that you're drawn to that romance. You want the fairy tale, you want the dream, and oftentimes you could be attracted to people who create that for you. And again, it doesn't have to be grandiose. It can even just be a walk to the park and somebody who picks you a flower. Like, you can be really drawn to people who are very sentimental, very romantic, just looking for ways to elevate the mundane into something magical, because you tend to focus on the day-to-day, and you are drawn to individuals who remind you of the magic of the big picture, as well as this dreamy nature really comes through in whichever art form or whatever connects them to the bigger picture, because Pisces is the archetype associated with essentially God and spirituality. They can be literally spiritual or just have ways of divinating or have ways of tuning in. That could be done through art, that could be done through altruism, that can be done through even sports, anything that connects them and makes them into that flow state. You can be really drawn to those sort of individuals and the magical way that they move through life, and thus making your life more magical. And the last piece that I want you to look out for in terms of the people that you are drawn to is you are drawn to individuals who are very compassionate, who are quite selfless. I love this axis. I think it's so giving, and you oftentimes, when it comes to how it is that you show love and express love, you do so in very practical ways. You help out your friend with her task. You buy the special rice that your partner likes at the store. Like, you show your love and affection typically through tangible ways, and it might be at times uncomfortable for you to show vulnerability, because Virgo is the sign of essentially the quest for perfection, and having it as rising around how it is that you come off to others, there could just be energy, even if you're falling apart, again, everything's fine, don't worry about me, I've got it together. you sometimes can get stuck into this trap around feeling like you've got to be the helpful one, has it together, don't worry about me all of the time. Your ideal other is somebody who creates a safe space for you to feel all of your emotions and for you to really feel safe to open up to them about them. You have a water descendant, and water is just sort of energy that soaks up, right? It soaks up the energetic and the emotional frequencies of what's happening around it. So when it comes to your ideal other, you can be drawn to individuals that you do feel safe dumping into in terms of like your emotions and what it is that you're going through. Obviously, we want a balance here, but that's a rare experience for you to have, for you to feel safe to open up. And you could find that you're really attracted to people's hearts. You're attracted to people's selflessness. You're attracted to people's kindness, their purity at heart, their goodness of spirit can be qualities that you find quite appealing. And you are also somebody who is quite helpful, who is quite giving. But like I said, you express it in more of an earthy way, and you're drawn to people who express this love for humanity that the two of you share, and express it more so through their emotional intelligence as well as through their spiritual connection in some instances. So let's get some more nuance around the particular sort of partner that you should have by your side, whether it's in business or in your love connection. So for this, we're going to find where your natal Jupiter is placed. And the reason is this. So Jupiter within your natal chart is your descendant ruler, because this is the sign that rules Pisces in traditional astrology. I am a trained traditional astrologer. If you are a modern astrologer, you would look to Neptune. I'm going to keep talking about Jupiter simply because that's what my study is rooted in. So find Jupiter within your natal chart and contemplate its sign that it's placed in, the house that it's placed in, and any aspects that it makes. This will describe your ideal partner, as well as in some texts it's considered this can designate how you come across this person, where it is that you meet this person. So let's give some examples. So let's say you have a Pisces descendant and you find where Jupiter is in your chart, and you see that you have a Jupiter in Aquarius within the 6th house. You'll absolutely be drawn to those Piscean themes that I was talking about, somebody who is deeply compassionate, who cares about others, who wants good things for others. And it may show up in a more humanitarian focused energy as Aquarius, right? They might be kind of weird. They do their own thing. Like I said, they might have that laxed, chill mentality, just going with the flow. And with the energy in Aquarius, it might really come off with their desire to challenge the status quo and do their own thing, go with the flow in their own thing. Again, think of combining the two qualities of both the Pisces archetype as well as now where your Jupiter is placed in. Now let's add in the house. It's in the 6th house. This is around the day-to-day. This is around health. This is around small animals. You can find that your partner has a special love, again, the energy of Pisces, universal selfless love for small animals. They care deeply about animals. Maybe they are somebody who has a very strong why in regards to their work. They are very, very, helpful. They're very, very diligent as it relates to their work. They feel connected to the big picture. That's Pisces as a result of their work. That's the energy of 6th house. Maybe they work in the medical field and just have a really strong desire to filter their compassion in very 6th house like ways. So now let's give another example. Let's say you have a Pisces descendant, you follow where Jupiter is placed in within your chart, and you see that you have Jupiter placed in Libra within the 2nd house. This would designate somebody who is quite heart-centered and loving, the qualities of Pisces, particularly as it relates to Libra-like themes. They might really have a love for fairness, for justice within this world. They might really get a lot of value over the balance within their connections. They might be quite charming as it relates to connections. And it's in the 2nd house, so they could work in sales, right? Working one-to-one to earn money. You can be very attracted to this person's ability to see the big picture as it relates to finances. It can be somebody who provides support to you financially, who eases your nerves in that way. So again, you'll just want to consider what sign is my Jupiter placed in, what house is it placed in, what aspects is it's making. And just to illuminate that point that I made around that it can designate where it is that we meet somebody, like for the first example, Jupiter in the 6th, it could designate meeting somebody at work, right? Meeting somebody at the medical's office, that would be weird, or at the veterinary, or at the dog park, or something of that nature around 6th house themes, versus the second example, Jupiter in the 2nd house, meeting them at the bank, or meeting them shopping, or something of that nature. Here's the thing about Pisces. It is certainly not just this dreamy, loving energy. And you might find as I go through the shadow side of the Pisces Descendant, you might be like, yep, I had an ex who did that. I had a business partner who did that. So you're gonna wanna be mindful, because when we talk about Descendant, I'm not saying it's like the ideal energy every single time. You'll find that you will encounter people who exhibit those high vibe energies of Pisces, people who are compassionate, really attune you to the big picture, as well as the low vibe, which we'll chat about right now, and I want you to be extraordinarily cautious of. The first one is that you can be attracted to individuals who live in a dream. This was an upside, but it could be a downside, because they do inspire you to dream. They take you out of the mundane. But you can be drawn to people who straight up are a little lazy, who talk a lot around, we could do this, we could do this, without physically doing anything, right? And it's deeply important to be mindful of individuals who are constantly dreaming without acting. Again, it's helpful. It tempers some of your overdoing energy around feeling like you always need to be doing stuff. It might remind you to play every so often, stop and sniff the roses every so often. But it could be somebody who's just like living on your couch, just being like, yeah, what if I was an artist? And it was like, what if you got a job? Like, it can be people who just live in a fantasy and don't participate in reality. And this is where the balance comes in, because you're very rooted in reality. So if you choose a partner who's able to take you out of the day-to-day and you're able to sort of ground this person around, you have to go to the dentist, you have to do things, you can't just sit and dream all day, it can be truly such a magical pairing. And also being cautious around where they are future faking with you, because Pisces is the dream, it is the fantasy. So you can find that you are drawn to individuals who perhaps in the past have like sold you this big dream around, I'm gonna marry you, we're gonna do this big thing, we're gonna have all these kids, and then like the actions don't back it up, right? Like they are just projecting this fantasy. And even in the worst case scenario, people who are liars, right? People who are so rooted in the fantasy that they are not telling you the truth, that they don't value the truth, that they're willing to tell you whatever it is that you want to hear. Like Pisces energy can be a smokescreen in that way. So it's something to be incredibly discerning about. And it's very interesting because Virgo risings are very, very analytical and discerning about just about everything else in their lives. But when it comes to love life, for some reason, they have a blind spot at times. So I want you to be very cautious. Allow people's actions to do the talking. It's okay to get lost in the dream every so often, but just make sure the bills are getting paid and you guys are building some sort of future, as well as they're not disrespecting you with their dishonesty. The next point that I want you to be mindful of is individuals who love escapism a little too much. A lot of times when it comes to having Pisces on Descendant, you can find that you are drawn to individuals who can, at times, it's not a given, but who may struggle with some issues around substances or anything really done in excess, right? Pisces is a Jupiterian ruled sign. Jupiter is excessive. You know, it really can be a very hedonistic energy. So you can find that you're drawn to people who want to party all the time, right? People who go to excess with their drinking, people who go to excess with their smoking. It's deeply important that there's balance in that way, because you as a Virgo rising, you are defined by your habits and routines. Like Virgo lives life through the day-to-day. So I want you to be cautious of individuals who are sort of encouraging bad habits within you as well. And obviously you can't control people's usage, like that's a personal thing, but just being cautious. Again, their life is their responsibility. I've just seen a lot of people with this axis, they can get locked into this toxic cycle because Virgo is the energy of the helper and Pisces energy of the escaper. So it could be this energy around you trying to fix them and fix their issues, when love, that is their responsibility, right? You can be loving without enabling someone. And that's just one pattern that I see some of my clients getting stuck in that I do want you to avoid. And again, Descendant is beyond just our spouse. It can also represent business partners. So this could also be a tendency that you see within business partners. That future faking energy could be something when it comes to the projections for the business, right? They're like, well, it could be this. And it's like, what do the numbers say, Tom? And the last piece that I want you to be cautious of is people who do get stuck in a victim mentality. Keep in mind, the world can be very harsh, right? But Pisces is a very special energy in that they are designated by two fish. pushing them in opposite directions. And one of the struggles that they battle with, this duality that they battle with, is around their experience of life. Like, life can be magic and life can be hell, right? And oftentimes a lot of Pisces placements do have to overcome these feelings of victimhood, these feelings of martyrdom around, well, the world just hates me or nothing ever works out for me. And it's super important that you are cautious around partnering with individuals who have this limiting mentality. No one is exempt from life's challenges and life's suffering, right? But when it comes to these challenges, like, notice the people that you partner with, are they able to pick themselves back up again and keep going with a positive mindset? Or do they just allow themselves to, like, just give up on life and just stop trying? This is a really important tendency to look out for, as well as individuals who really live within that constant state of just feeling sorry for themselves without physically doing anything about their situation to improve it, is a really important tendency for you to look out for, as well as like tilting towards over emotionality, right? Even just like emotionally gaslighting you. How could you do this to me? It's like, at some point in time, your partners really need to take responsibility over their own lives, right? And not feeling sorry for themselves and not using emotions to justify everything within their life. So that's something to be mindful of. And it can be a beautiful balance. Like I said, Pisces and their emotional sensitivity helps you in a myriad of ways, but it's deeply important. You know, you're earth sign, they're a water sign. Water nourishes earth, right? Earth creates a container for water. It needs to be a balance. It cannot be you just helping and fixing this other individual without them really doing anything to improve their lives or improve their situation. But all in all, when it comes to the individuals that you are drawn to very magical individuals. You find you have a very special place in your heart for the musicians, for the spiritual high vibration individuals, right? You can find that you love individuals who sort of tap into this universal spiritual source energy, people who just embody magic. Again, music, writing, art, however it is that they, you know, push out this energy. You are drawn to people who are creative, people who are tapped in to all that is and funnel it through them, who exude it and are living embodiments of you getting out of your own head and remembering to enjoy this experience, that things can be magic. It's not just about the day to day. And when it comes to the creation that you guys come together, you're able to really attune to the details of how the two of your lives can improve, and they really make every day magical, right? They're able to lend their creative, imaginative nature to your business projects. They're able to add that lens as it relates to, you know, raising children, creating your home together, whereas you bring this real, gifted, analytical, detail-oriented quality to the connection that makes the two of you truly magic, both in the physical realm as well as with the spiritual realm. So I would love to hear, my fellow Virgo ascendants, how have you experienced these themes come up within your connections, within your partnerships? I would love to hear. I know a lot of us at the time of filming this have had Neptune transit, so Neptune conjoining the Descendant, which has been interesting. I swear I could write 5 books about all I went through when Neptune transited my Descendant. So do let me know, what's been your experience with Pisces energy? Again, not literal Pisces, but people who embody this Pisces Descendant archetype. I would love to hear. My loves, my Instagram handle is @HaleyCometAstrology. My TikTok is the same. I would so love to connect with you over there. And until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.